Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about branded analytics, how you can bring your brand using embedded analytics to make a better user experience. Who here was at Iron Viz last night? It was awesome, right? Some beautiful visualizations that really were awe-inspiring. But a few months back, I saw this from Jeffrey Schaefer on Twitter, where he talked about making that wonderful viz that you put hours and hours of work in and it not getting the recognition it deserves. And I know I see that internally all the time at companies. A viz that was important, had great analysis, looked beautiful, but never found its audience. And from the response on Twitter, I can see that this is something that people have felt. You can go to this thread and scroll through it and see just beautiful visualization and analysis one after another. And what that tells me is that good is not enough. It is not enough just to have good analytics. It is not enough to have something that is beautiful and well designed. It has to find its audience. So how do we take your visualizations and help them go from unsung to cult classics with your customers or with your internal audience? And I think the solution is to frame the experience. If you have a Mona Lisa painting and it's in your basement under a tarp, of course no one's going to find it. No one's going to be able to do it. So what do you do with a beautiful painting? Right? You frame it, you put it up on the wall, you put it in a space that can be enjoyed, that is designed for that experience. And the same is true for your visualizations. So that's where embedded analytics comes in. So what is embedded analytics? Embedded analytics is simply taking your analytics and sticking it in another tool. So Tableau has a lot of capabilities like the JavaScript API, REST API that allow you to do this. And you're all familiar with this. Tableau Public, you see Tableau Public visualizations in blogs all the time. It's the same technology, and that's available to you on Tableau Server right now. But more importantly, I like to think of embedded analytics as branded analytics, because it's your chance to take your analytics, bring it to your customers in a website that looks like your brand, feels like your brand, that provides a better experience that they're comfortable using, that is familiar and meets their expectations. And why is this important? It's important because buyers will pay more for a better experience. Our phones have taught us that good experience matters, right? We all have these amazing devices in our pockets that are just easy and beautiful to use. So we're just less patient, right? We don't wait for things to load. We don't struggle with finding things as long as we used to. And the same thing is expected from your audience, right? And so we need to meet that and help them find what they want. And understanding what they want is essential. Design is really about empathy. It's about understanding your user's point of view and what they care about. So we don't start with data, right? Data is important. We all love data. We're at a conference that celebrates data, right? But that is not what the audience is actually wanting, right? They want analysis that leads to insight. And we need to help them to get to insight as fast as possible. So Tableau, like I mentioned, can get you there. There are all kinds of capabilities that Tableau gives you to bring Tableau to your audience. So why would you want to do this, right? I mean, first off, it's the power of Tableau, right? You're at a conference celebrating Tableau. You love Tableau. You're bringing a best-of-breed technology to your customers, and you're benefiting from that experience. Your brand gets to look better because of Tableau and the work they have done. It also makes it faster to market because of your capability to be able to develop analytics faster and to move more agilely. But embedded gives you an additional benefit of bringing things into context. And context is so important, right? So embedding could be used to bring in sales reports into Salesforce, right? And right where the people need it most, where they're spending their time doing their day, they can have their reports. A report that's in context is much more likely to be used because the user doesn't have to think about what other site to go to, what other URL to remember, where to download it, who emailed them, right? It's there where they need it, when they need it. And finally, embedded gives us extensibility. So because of those APIs I mentioned, we can take Tableau's features and do more, right? So the JavaScript API, for instance, will allow you to filter dashboards. So we could create a filter that goes across all dashboards. Maybe you all have dates across all your reports or a large section of reports, and you want the user to set that once. We can enable that with the extensions. So let's talk about some basics of what that would look like. The essential place to start is the home page, because what your goal should be is to create a single home for your analytics. So that could be Tableau, right? Multiple Tableau sites combined into a single place. That could be other reporting systems. It could be downloadable data, CSVs, PDFs, or blog content. And they should all be in the same place so the users know where to go and what to expect. And we should think, first off, what that experience should be, right? Maybe it's something that is more exploration, right? And we focus on search and making that a beautiful experience for them. Or maybe there's 3 dashboards that you use daily, and we feature those, and we give them additional capabilities like things they recently viewed, or what other people in their group have recently used, and surface that content to them. But the main thing, again, is the user's perspective. Understanding what they care about and making it good for them. Because otherwise you end up in a situation that I often find myself in with Netflix, which is where I just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and keep looking. It's analysis paralysis, right? Everything is screaming, pick me, pick me, pick me at me, right? And at the end of the day, there's a lot of times where I log out and I haven't watched any movie or a TV show or anything else. And the same is true of your users. You don't want them to go and scan Tableau server and be like, yeah, I couldn't find it, right? Because then they just go back doing the same old way of making decisions that isn't data-driven. And that's not what we want. So we can tailor the experience even further than just a home page. We can tailor it per group, right? So we can have an executive version of a home page where we come in and see the KPIs and link them to the drill down reports, and then tie that to the owners of the business that they need to contact if they have questions or if there's something that needs to be corrected. And then line of business users could get the tools that they use most. And maybe we have outside users like franchisees that we want to tailor their experience and have custom look and feel for, and we can do that for them as well. So embedding really allows you to open up your imagination and do all kinds of creative things. On the more practical side, navigation is essential. It's really easy to slap a search bar on a home page and call it done, but users want to be able to browse and see what's going on. And so give some thought to the way they would expect to find their reports. Does your company intranet use a top navigation or a side navigation? Do something that's familiar with them. And when we're looking at categorizing that stuff, it's good to do some user research. So there's a technique called a card sort where you take a selection of the items that you want to put in a navigation, write it down on some index cards, and then tell them to put it in the piles that make sense for them. It's simple, but it's really effective to see their view of the world. And I promise you, you'll be surprised. The way that you saw things is probably not the way they do. And if there's one thing I've learned from being in user experience for 11 years, is that you have to ask the users. Your intuition isn't enough. And following that theme, prototype and test. Embedded gives you the ability to put Google Analytics on top of your website, and you can see things like how the users are progressing through your website, what they're clicking on, how they found certain items. And from that, you can learn a lot and prototype new things that will reach them faster. and then make it your own. Choose your corporate colors, choose your logo, make it feel like yours. It seems kind of silly, like, you know, when people log into your intranet that they work there, right? No one's surprised when I type in, you know, into our intranet and it says Interworks. I'm not shocked, right? I knew I worked there. But that feeling of it being ours, that it being created for us, it being custom, makes it welcoming. We like that. And it's part of that feeling, right, of this being a place I want to go to that's natural, that fits my needs, that will keep me coming back over and over again. So to look at to look at a customer story around this, Derek Austin's going to come on stage. He leads our portal development practice.
Test. All right, good. Okay, cool. Hey, my name is Derek Austin. I want to tell you about a company that really has done this very effectively, and that is the Arby's Group. So at Arby's, we had a guy named Carl. Carl came to Interworks and he said, Tableau server is great for my developers, but it isn't Arby's. How can we make this Arby's? And so Carl really embraced this branded analytics concept. He took it from start to finish and invented something that was not Tableau server. It was the Arby's reporting platform. And so how does this look? At Arby's, they customized everything. They made it their brand, their look and feel, even down to the login page. In fact, you might even say they have the meats. Arby's has this unique brand built around their company. And so why not use that as part of their design? When I first got this request, I thought it was the craziest thing I had heard. But the people inside Arby's loved having their dashboards in a format that meant something to them. It was their brand, their look and feel, and it was something that they were familiar with. Now, would I put cows and chickens and pigs on an internal Interworks landing page? Probably not, unless it was April Fool's Day. But at Arby's, it made a lot of sense. It was something that meant something to them and got their users engaged. In fact, they took this concept not only for internal employees, but also out to the franchisees. The franchisees can log into this portal and get their individual store numbers, once again, in a branded Arby's format. If you have external customers like that of any kind, you don't want to give them direct access to Tableau server. You want to give them something that means something to you, your brand, so that it seems like your reports instead of a canned report coming out of a system that you purchased. On the other hand, the internal reporting using the same portal was able to give the internal corporate users a completely different experience. They were able to log in and get different dashboards and quickly analyze a store's performance, or in this case, multiple stores' performance. So how do you do this? How do you become a success story in embedded analytics and Tableau like Arby's? Well, there's a couple of different ways. First, there's the do-it-yourself model. Tableau has given us really great APIs for building out embedded analytics. It's free. It comes with Tableau server. If you're a web developer, if your web development team can take it on, it's out there. It's actually really simple to use. They have great examples, and it's something that you can get up and running pretty quickly. But for most of us, that's a problem. Either our web development team is overloaded already, or we don't have that experience. We would have to outsource it. And so Interworks has really provided a different experience, a different model. Everybody loves branded analytics. It really gives you that look and feel that you want for your company, but not all of us have that web development experience. And so how do we get from point A to point B? We can do so with something that Interworks has created that we call the portal product. Basically, it gives you this branded analytics experience without ever needing to code a single line. Everything that you can do in branding Tableau through their APIs is presented to you in a packaged product ready to go, and all you have to do is go in the back end and add your dashboards. I even say that it's simpler to use than Tableau. It's very drag and drop friendly, very UI based. You never have to touch a line of code, but you still get the customized experience that you would if you took branded analytics, the APIs from Tableau, and built your very own product. And so how does that look? There's a lot of different ways that you can brand this out. The point is, it's custom for you. Branded analytics is not about what Enterworks would do. It's not about what Tableau would do. It's not even about what Arby's would do. It's about what you would do as the individual company. What would your colors be? What would your logos be? And more importantly, what would your navigation be? How do you engage your users and make sure that they have the experience that works for them? Maybe it isn't the same as what Tableau would give you. Maybe it isn't the same as what Enterworks would give you. But that experience is something that you guys know and can embrace and give to your users. And so with this, there's a lot of different things that we kind of include in our portal package that you can get really easily and quickly. It's a security platform to present those analytics and get them out there. But really, the biggest thing is it makes your analytics center stage for you. Whether you're taking the do-it-yourself approach or taking a packaged approach, look at making those analytics something that your users will engage with and actually use. But Enterworks is more than a product. And I would be remiss if I ended the conversation with saying that. Sure, we have this great portal product. We can also help you with the do-it-yourself model if you wanted consulting there. But Enterworks itself is a holistic company with consulting with Tableau from start to finish. If you need help with the dashboards and getting those ready for your end users, we can help. If you need help standing up Tableau server, we can help with that as well. If you need data help, getting the data ready to go into Tableau or Tableau prep, Enterworks is great at that as well. So however we can help out, let us know. Stop by our booth. Oh, one more. Stop by our booth at 431. Let us tell you a little bit more. Or if you're interested in embedded analytics, we'd love to hear your use case. We'd love to show you what we've done, give you some ideas. We'll be at, there's some cabanas right behind the booth over here. We'll be there all day. We'd love to talk to you and ask you about your experience and what you need in your company, what you need to make Tableau work for you. With that, I would also ask, remember to go into the Tableau app, the mobile app, and rate this session, and let us know how we did. If you have any questions, you can ask them now, or you can ask us over there as well. Thank you.